Good morning, Team Sci-Fitters. Shelly Pinkerton here, coming at you this morning. And today I want to share with you a little recipe that I have for a pre-workout cereal, my breakfast. I usually do a pretty hearty breakfast before I'm going to do any sort of resistance training, as I'm sure most of you do or know. It's important that you get enough fuel to put you through a decent enough workout that you're really going to be able to tax those muscles to the fullest extent, but stay focused and energized and have plenty of energy and control so that you don't set yourself up for injury. So one of the things that I've been doing is exploring more gluten-free foods. I discovered over this past year that I am gluten sensitive. I had a full workup done for both gluten and lactose. In one of my previous videos, I talked about my dairy-free post-workout shake. So the numbers came back from my doctor that I did not have your stereotypical dairy or gluten intolerances. However, I do find that if I do ingest too much wheat or gluten-laden products, and there are a lot of them out there, or if I ingest too much dairy, I find that I have a lot of internal swelling and inflammation, as well as just feeling generally sluggish, run down, and I'm not getting the most out of my workouts and therefore not getting optimal results. So I took it upon myself, because this year is my get back into shape year, to do some investigation about how to eat a little cleaner as far as keeping dairy and gluten out of my diet. So one of my favorite pre-resistance training workout meals is to do, instead of oatmeal, which was one of my standards for years and years, to do a gluten-free hot cereal. Oatmeal has gluten in it, as does wheat, as does many other things, not just starchy carbohydrates, but also sauces and condiments and things like that that we put. Gluten is used in a lot of packaged products. So the list is pretty short. Rice, amaranth, quinoa, those are just a couple. I think buckwheat is another one that doesn't have gluten. So you really have to be careful when you're in the store to check that label to make sure that it says on there gluten-free, because you're not necessarily going, just as because it says it doesn't have wheat doesn't necessarily mean it's gluten-free. So start getting in the habit of looking at those things if this is something you want to practice. My favorite is Bob's Red Mill gluten-free Mighty Tasty Hot Cereal. And this has been the best for me as far as getting me great fuel for a pre-workout. I make a big batch of it at a time so that I can, because it takes a while to cook. You cook it on the stovetop. I haven't really found that doing it in the microwave is very beneficial. So I usually do a batch of it for the week. And what it ends up looking like, this isn't so pretty, I apologize, but I make my batch of cereal and I put it in a Tupperware, and then I just keep it in the fridge, and I can then scoop it out and use it every morning as needed, or for snack or lunch. It really doesn't have to be just a breakfast meal. You can have this sort of carbohydrate anytime you pre-workout, or anytime when you feel like you need a good carbohydrate dose. So what I do in the morning is about an hour to an hour and a half before workout, I take some of my Bob's Red Mill cereal, it's probably about a quarter cup, spoon it into my bowl. See that there? I hope this is working for you. And then what I add to that, and I'm going to take the camera now because this will be much easier for you to see. Dun-dun-dun-dun. I've got apples and bananas that I've chopped up. Just a little bit, a couple slices of apple, a couple slices of banana, and my walnut pieces in halves that I also add to my cereal. So let's go ahead and toss that in there. You guys are getting all this. I'm really getting good at my self-videoing. I think y'all should be proud of me. Don't have anyone behind the camera there, but it's working. Do my own cooking show. My goodness, who'd have thunk? Okay, so my walnut pieces in halves, sliced apple, sliced banana, And then what I also like to add, here I'm going to bring you over here, just to add a little bit of sweetness. I mean, the bananas are going to sweeten it up nicely, but my organic blue agave sweetener. You know, this is a natural sweetener, no artificial crap in there, trying to be as conscientious and as healthy as I can. So I would add a little bit, just a slight drizzle of that into my cereal, okay? Then the next thing I would add, last but not least, just to give it a little creaminess and silkiness. A lot of us like to have, you know, a nice warm milk over hot cereal. It reminds us of when we were kids and Mom used to make us cream of wheat before going out to play. But because I am lactose sensitive, I have switched to silk creamer. So I would put a little drizzle of silk creamer over that. And then last but not least, to add a little bit of extra protein. If I didn't feel like having my typical egg whites with my cereal, one of the best things you can do is add a scoop of whey protein to any cereal. And that's going to add to that protein content. There is already a little bit of protein in there, but if you're really trying to get a complete meal that's going to power you through a great workout, you really need to have a decent amount of protein added to your first meal of the day. So one of my favorites is Sci-Fit Whey Protein. This is Mochaccino Delight. I would most likely use a vanilla protein, but maybe a half a scoop of that sprinkled over the top of my cereal. I'm going to zap that into the microwave, and then it's going to be good to go. So, bringing it back to home, and hopefully me back in the camera, that is a gluten-sensitive, high quality, very nutritious, carry you through a great resistance training workout breakfast meal. And I've added my favorite whey protein so that I can get a little extra oomph back in there, and we will be good to go. So try it out. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a shout out on my page on Facebook, or reach us through bodybuilding.com in the forums or on the Sci-Fit forum. This is Shelly Pinkerton for Team Sci-Fit. Rock on.